I'm outside, January 20th, 2026. Today we're going to Marietta, Georgia. Take about an hour ride to go see somebody about a washer. I got an LG washer. No, I guess it's good afternoon to those who are with the Lord today. Blessed to be in the presence of the Lord today. Happy birthday to those born January 20th. And my condolences go out to those who did not wake up to be with us. This is your boy Doug 60 Gang, and I'm outside. 42 degrees, got a little bit warmer. And I'm out here getting ready to do my thing. I'm going to run to Marietta right quick. I got to stop at the post office. And that should be about it. I only come outside unless it's productive. Very productive. If it don't make no money, it ain't making no sense. I stay in my crib, I mind my business, I stay in the lane, my lane. These roads in Atlanta have gotten too overpopulated with foreign drivers, new drivers, inexperienced drivers, and drivers ain't got no goddamn reason to be out here in the first place. So I like to get out here. I normally get out early in the morning, but in this case, this customer needed me to be at their house in the afternoon. So normally I would be back home by now, but you know, I try to help you out. I'll meet you halfway. I rarely get a customer that needs an afternoon call, but in this case, I got one. So off to Marietta we go, my friends. I'm taking you with me. Let's see what this is here. We got going on here. New job. Cooling. Pass.
Everybody who knows me from back in the day, from Pontiac, from Fit, I'm robbing niggas. I'm robbing gambling joints. And so I was robbing drug dealers because, you know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna call police on me. What they gonna do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm robbing.
Gotta see me in the street.
Yeah, you gotta see me. And I wasn't giving a fuck. So I went to Detroit. I was already on it. But it's a funny fact. People don't know this. The crew that I was in, the majority of them niggas. So when I came down here, of course, I'm educated into the East Side, West Side shit. So I'm thinking all West Side nigga hoes because the East Side niggas around, they like, this 86, bro. So they're like, man, West Side nigga hoe. We go over there, beat up the whole block. We go there, fuck their hoes. They mama boys, silver spoon. So I'm thinking West Side niggas is hoes and silver spoon and all this other kind of shit. This is what I'm thinking. Even before I came to Detroit, I'm in the youth home. So you got guys from 8 Mile and 7 Mile crossing over 8 Mile, then coming to the youth home. So it wasn't until my crew, the majority of my crew who I came down here with, to fuck with, the majority of them niggas is from the West Side, right? So them niggas was the most dangerous niggas I ever met in my life, right? Them niggas would shoot you in your face for an insult, for stepping on their shoe, for looking crazy, for ripping your mug up, for Mark hitting the nigga. So I learned fast, even though I'm an East Side nigga from Pontiac and Detroit, I realized fast that, bro, it ain't really about whether you're from the East Side or the West Side. It's really about just who you is. Everybody who knows.
I just want to say shout out to MAGA Army vet John James. Okay, he is a military hero, and he completely blows out activist Margaret Brennan's narrative. Okay, it's not looking good for Margaret Brennan. It's not looking good for her at all, and she wonders why she gets the treatment that she's getting. It's because maybe it's because you keep cutting off your Republican guests when they hit you with the facts. Okay, and you're over here giving leeway to the Democrat guests, and you're sitting here and trying to have a gotcha moment and play this vindictive game just because you hate Trump and you guys lost. Maybe that's it. What do you guys think? Okay, it's just not looking good for Margaret Brennan at all. Shout out to John James for maintaining his stoicism through this whole thing and being extremely knowledgeable through this wicked attack. All right, let's get right into it. Shout out to the King Squad. Smash the like button, hit subscribe. We're here to break this video down. Let's get right into it. Let's go.
John James. Good morning to you, Congressman.
Good morning, Margaret.
I want to ask you about what's happening in your state with the economy and tariffs, but just staying on the theme for a moment, I know you have a lot of Ukrainian Americans in your district. You voted in support of last year's Ukraine supplemental. Are you comfortable with the Trump administration's decision to stop recognizing that Russia started the war in Ukraine?
Russia is the aggressor. Putin is a war criminal, and Volodymyr Zelensky also fumbled the bag pretty hard. All those things can be true at the exact same time. We absolutely must stand by our allies, but at the exact same time, we also need to make sure that we are giving transparency and accountability to the American people. Under the Biden administration, billions of dollars were given away with very little accountability and no mission, no end state. I'm a combat veteran, and my soldiers expected from me that I would be able to articulate objectives, a mission, and an end state. And the commander-in-chief last time couldn't do that. Yep. President Trump is doing everything that he can to get a lasting peace, an enduring peace in Eastern Europe and throughout the world. He's already ended one war in the Middle East. I think we should give him a chance to end one in Europe.
Well, I think there's developments on the Mideast front that throw that into question, but we'll keep tracking that. Let me ask you about tariffs and Michigan, because you are really in a unique spot in the middle of the auto state. This Tuesday, expect tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. That's what the president said. On March 12th, 25% tariffs on all imported steel and aluminum, no exceptions for trading partners. Auto tariffs in April. What is your district bracing for?
Look, America is open for business, but we are not for sale. Michigan remembers what NAFTA did to us. And over the past 30 years, Mexico's built 11 major automotive plants to only one in the United States. Michigan remembers 900,000 automotive jobs over back in the 90s to 600,000 now. That's over 300,000 lost manufacturing jobs in the automotive sector. Michigan remembers the Great Recession, where 50% of all the jobs lost in all of America were lost in Michigan alone. And Michigan remembers the harmful EV mandates that have, rather than actually allowing a regulatory environment that permits innovation, we've lost jobs to Mexico and China. Right now, my district, as you mentioned, the #1 manufacturing district in all the nation, overflow production is not going to Sterling Heights, it's going to Saltillo, Mexico. When you look at the opportunities that are missing us, when you look at the fact that Michigan is seeing its opportunities pass by, enough is enough. Margaret, the status quo is not good enough for Americans, which is why Donald Trump got elected. He's putting Americans first, and frankly, even our allies have not been playing a fair game. Look,
free trade
is the objective, but fair trade, right?
Yeah, the specific
go ahead.
Tactic here, because you brought up Sterling Heights. The Republican mayor of Sterling Heights, Michael Taylor, your district, says the president's tariffs are the, quote, single biggest threat to our local economy.
I just want to just interject right there. You just see how she's interrupting her guests. It's just ridiculous. Okay, this is why she gets the treatment that she's getting. It's ridiculous. Margaret Brennan is a straight activist who cannot handle the truth. All right, I just think that she needs to do her homework for herself, and she needs to actually do her own research, because if all you consume is the left-wing media, then you're going to have this extreme bias, and you're going to have this you're going to be on the hate Trump train, and you're going to be lost in the sauce. So shout out to John James for remaining extremely smart and articulate through this so far. I just want to say that.
Michael Taylor.
Fair trade, right?
Yeah, the specific
go ahead.
Tactic here, because you brought up Sterling Heights. The Republican mayor of Sterling Heights, Michael Taylor, your district, says the president's tariffs are the, quote, single biggest threat to our local economy. He's expecting it to be devastating and staggering. This is a Republican saying this about the impact on your district. What's he missing?
What's devastating and staggering is the fact of the matter that we have been taken advantage of for decades. The president, under his original tax plan, lowered corporate tax rates from 35 to 21%, and he's offering lower tax rates to 15% for those who build in the United States of America. We're also looking at energy independence. We're also looking at lowering the regulatory burdens for folks to succeed and excel. But what Democrats are doing is they're going to actually make it more difficult when they vote against these tax reforms for small businesses to excel and for entrepreneurs to get their feet under them. And so regardless of what it is, when you take a look at the EV policies that Joe Biden put in place that actually exacerbated the inflation, just look at work trucks.
Yeah. Well,
work trucks 5 years ago were $15,000 less expensive than they are right now. SUVs, $8,000 less expensive than they are right now.
Did you tell the mayor he's wrong?
Caused by terrible Democrat policies, and that is what's that?
So you're telling the mayor he's wrong? I mean, the Ford CEO said at an investor conference last month the 25% tariff would blow a hole in the U.S. industry that we have never seen.
Well, you know what? Memory is kind of short, because when you look at the OECD nations, they're already talking about leveling a 15% tax on anything in businesses that are making $750 million or more. Everybody should be looking at the impact that makes on top of the tariffs that are already imposed on goods that are made in the United States of America. No one is talking about this, Margaret, and all these economists, we expect that these are going to be honest brokers, but they're not. We are not operating at, Yeah, you can go talk to the CEO of Ford, but what I'm dealing with is people I'm talking with when I visit factory floors each and every single day. I am an automotive supplier in the United States of America, and I feel this pain. We've seen it for too long. And like I've said, we've been taken advantage of for years, and we need to level the playing field. When you're not playing fair with America, then we have to do what we can to make sure that we can compete on a fair playing field. And Margaret, I think that fairness is what we should be pursuing. And I don't think that's wrong to ask for out of our allies and our partners.
The global supply chain, I know you...
Oh, did you guys catch that? She's out here stuttering. She's over here, gulp. Gulp. Uh-oh. The truth. I've been confronted with the facts. She can't handle it. And shout out to John James for just keeping his cool. She is just the worst. I mean, I just can't with her. Okay, it's just rude. It is so inconsiderate and rude to be out here cutting your guests off and trying to just switch the topic all of a sudden. All right, she just doesn't want to hear it. It's funny to watch. On top of that, I want to say one of the coolest things I really love seeing myself is how you see that the black Republicans are always so much more smart and articulate, whereas the Democrat Republicans, they gotta just I can't get down with the ghetto stuff. I cannot get down with the ghetto acts and acting a fool and all that kind of stuff. The Jasmine Crockett, it's all right. You know what I really want to say, but this is YouTube, so I got to keep it somewhat PG here. But yeah, Jasmine Crockett's and them, the Ku Klux Kamala Harris's and the Mr. Letitia James and the Big Mike Obamas and Big Mike and all that kind of stuff. I can't get down with that. I can't. Okay, it is just it's crazy. It's very crazy. They always have to just rage and explode, and you see the Republicans, the black conservatives. So much cooler. It's just something that I see. I know I'm not the only one who sees this. But yeah, let's get back into the video. Let's go. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I always ask you, keep it respectful. Let's go.
It is complicated here, and the production goes back and forth.
Yes, I have a master's in it, Margaret. I understand it, and I'm also in the automotive industry.
Right. And what I'm trying to say is that the cars go back and forth across the border multiple times. So what is the construction of the tariffs that you think is actually going to be beneficial here?
It also comes across the border, fentanyl coming in from Mexico, and China is sending in precursors. And as a result of these negotiation tactics, Mexico surged 10,000 of their own National Guard troops to the border. And just as you're mentioning in the last segment, I think it was great that border apprehensions on the southern border have plunged to the lowest levels this century. If this is working, Mexico is paying for the border security. They're extraditing drug lords to be prosecuted in the United States of America. And these are the types of things that we're looking for. 84% of those in the terror watch list and the FBI terror watch list are apprehended on the northern border. And we're getting Canadian cooperation, which would have never happened under the previous administration and only started when President Trump started playing hardball and talking about these things. We have a number of levers, diplomatic, economic, and military. And diplomatic levers haven't worked. We're using economic levers to secure our borders and to make sure that we have fairness across our economy.
Wow. Yeah, shout out to John James. Okay, shout out to John James. He just maintained his cool. He was straightforward. She starts stuttering. She's trying to think of some type of counter argument. She's malfunctioning. You see, she started glitching. She's like beep boop bop beep. All right, screw it. I just hate Trump. Shout out to Deface the Nation and CBS News, Complete BS News Network. Okay, and deceiving the masses. We're here to break down the dysfunction, guys. Shout out to the King Squad. Smash the like button. Let me know what you guys thought. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Shout out to the King Squad. Join the family. And let me know what you think. All right. I think Margaret Brennan, she was really just being very combative with him here. Okay, she's trying to cut him off. And this is typical from the left. This is what we see on a consistent basis. You see this from Margaret Brennan, Kristen Welker, Dana Bash. Who are some more? I know there's some more, but I'm trying to think. It slightly slipped my mind, but I know there's plenty more activists, pretending to be journalists in left-wing media. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and let me know what you thought of this interview here.
Out of the mix. I don't hang out with certain groups of people, man. I just stay out of the mix. If you ever see me in the mix, like in some hood shit, it's very, very few and sporadic, and then I'm getting up out of there as soon as I can, bro. Or maybe a mistake, like, oh man, you just so happen to stumble on some BS or some nonsense. Nah, man, I'm up out of there, bro. You said, AD, you are all in the mix. How am I all in the mix? How am I all in the mix? When? Where? How? How? I ain't in nothing. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I be chilling. I got my chick and my daughter is out the way. My people is out the way. I am out the way. I am not in the mix. I'll just be out in the streets. And that's different. That's different. Like, it depends on what you define the streets. If you're talking about giving back to the homeless, yeah, I'll be out in the streets. If you're talking about going to a game, yeah, I go to a game because I go through a separate interest in all of that. You don't see me just hanging out in no hood spots. You don't see me just chilling with niggas and just meeting up with people on some random jump. You don't see none of that. I don't be in no mix. I'll be chilling. I'll be out the way. Straight up. And when I go out of town, I always keep security with me. Unless I'm in a different country. If I go to a different country, I'm chilling. But anytime I go out of town, I always got security with me. It's a safety measure. It's a precaution. I don't get caught up in listen, you don't see me at no hood bars. There's plenty of spots that pop up. I heard it was a spot where they did a shooting just the other day, and I ain't gonna say the city, but in Metro Detroit. Somebody was like, Anton, you hear about this? Yup. Anton, did you go to the Pistons game last night? Nope. You know why? You know why I didn't go to the Pistons game last night? Because I had just went to the Pistons game 2 days before. So I can't telegraph what it is that I'm gonna do when I'm gonna do it. It's just the truth. It's just the facts. Like, I never go to back-to-back games. Sometimes I'll skip 3-4 games in between. All of that. Pistons won. Mike Epps don't need security. It's all about how you carry yourself. Listen, bro. Listen. If you don't think that Mike Epps be having security, you smoking crack out of your mind. Bro, security don't have nothing to do with the respect that you get in your city. Security has everything to do with somebody looking for a come up. Everybody is not cool. Listen, let's say, for example, you got 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people, 4,000 people that love you. It only take one person that be like, man, I like that chain. Oh man, I can get that car. Oh man, I like that watch on their wrist. Oh man, I don't like the way that they said something on the internet. It only take 1 out of 100,000 people to not like you. See, but this is the small time thinking that a lot of people have. You have to look at yourself as an asset. You got to look at yourself as a commodity. That is cool when it's just you. It's not the same when you got people that depend on you, when you got employees, when you got a wife, when you got a daughter. None of that stuff matters. All of that junk don't matter. It could be somebody that's jealous of you. It could be somebody that you was in high school with and they feeling some type of way about it and they don't even know that you don't even remember their name. It don't take but a split second. Nipsey carried himself respectably. Nipsey seemed like a really, really good guy. Nipsey was doing the best for the community. You know what Nipsey was doing? He was investing in his hood, investing in his space. Exactly. Perfect example. Look at I Show Speed. I Show Speed is probably one of the nicest people on camera. The nicest people that you can ever see on camera. You know what he do? He roll with a whole crew. His biggest expense is probably security. One of the nicest people has probably never offended anybody in his life is I Show Speed. And you know what you can look at? Let me go to his stream right now. I know he always streaming. Yep, he's streaming. Look at this dude. He running like the president. Okay, now tell me how you don't need security again. We have to start thinking differently. We cannot keep on acting like hood boogers. You have to, no matter how much they love him, no matter how much they love him, you have to stop thinking like a hood booger. You cannot keep on having the same mentality and thinking that you're going to get to the next level. We seen somebody kill a United Healthcare executive just a year and a half ago or something like that? That healthcare executive never knew that he was a representation of what the man didn't like. He had never seen that guy before in his entire life. Standing outside of a hotel, wind up killing that man. He never met that guy in his entire life. He was a representation of a system that he didn't like. Don't have nothing to do with whether they like you or not. They just may not like what you represent. They may not like the company that you work at. They may not like somebody else that you tied to. Founder of Cash App, facts. Look at Speed. Speed moved like the president, like the president. He moved like the president. You got to be smart, man. Seriously, you have to be very, very smart. You can't be out here slipping. You can't be out here getting caught up in the foolishness. And listen, let me tell y'all something else. Stop listening to people give you advice that don't have no vested interest in your success. They're going to have you looking stupid because you're trying to keep it real. You're trying to keep it real. You trying to keep it real. Make sure you make it home at night. Make sure you make it home at night. This is my advice for people. Be a winner. Winners live to tell the story and they create the narrative that they want and they run up a bag. Losers are the ones that get killed because they was keeping it too real. Winners make it home at night and they get to kiss their kids at night. Losers sit there and try to keep it real for people that ain't gonna give a fuck about them if anything was to happen to them. You know what the people that's gonna say? They know what they're gonna say? The same people that was in their chat talking about how real you should have kept it. They're gonna move on to the next streamer. They're gonna move on to the next video. They're gonna move on to the next thing. They don't care, bro. They don't care nothing about you. Nobody cares about any of these people, bro. Nobody. All of these people, you know how I know people that care about me is because they bag chasers and we meet up in real life and we have real conversations and we build together. But all of these other people, these hanger-ons that tell you what it is, ignore that bullshit, man. If you don't move that out the way and keep it moving, stop trying to qualify yourself for people that don't care nothing about you. Do what you have to do to get back to the person that you got. To take care of. Take care of your family. Stop trying to keep it real for niggas that ain't gonna show up at your funeral. They don't care nothing about you. The culture is already toxic. Y'all want to know the truth? Let me tell you something, bro. Most people will not make it. I'm going to really give you some reality right now. Most people, listen. 8.5, 9 billion people on this earth. 350 million people inside of the United States of America. The lake of fire enlargeth itself. If you think that following the majority is the right thing to do, I will tell you that the majority of people are going to bust hell wide open. The amount of time that we have on this earth is a small, finite amount of time. It is but a vapor. If you live to be 100, it is but a vapor. And I am telling you right now, most people they can't even manage their own finances, but they will tell you about how rich you are or how broke you are. Most people can't even find a fucking job. The overwhelming majority around the people that enroll in college, they drop out. They do not graduate en masse. Most people wind up fumbling and getting divorced. Most people wind up having a baby mama. Most people can't even determine whether or not they're going to feed themselves at the end of the day. And they got to ask somebody else for a handout, a hand up, for a job. Most people can't even control their own fate. Why would you listen to people that can't even get their own life together, that has no control over what it is that they're going to do on a daily basis, that has no discipline or ability to determine whether they're going to feed themselves? The majority of these people are asking for food stamps. Food stamps. 42 million people. 42 million people said that we hungry, boss. We need you to open up the government again so we can get our food stamps. And you think that why would you give a fuck about what the majority of people care? They're broke. They're broke in real life and broken. Most people are broken, and can't even figure out where they're going to live tomorrow. Listen, they're one paycheck away from losing everything. The overwhelming majority of people are one paycheck away from losing everything. And you will let these same people that are talking to you on an Obama phone determine the path of your life because you're trying to keep it real for them? Remember who you are. We are set aside. We're not supposed to be the majority. We're not supposed to be the ones that the people listen to. We're supposed to be the ones that they reject because they don't like righteousness, because they don't want to hear the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth that you can determine what your path is going to be if you're born inside of the United States of America. Why would they want to know that? You know what a lot of people are looking for? They're looking for somebody to support their trauma. They're looking to trauma bond. They're not looking to out themselves. They're not looking to get out of their circumstance. You force somebody to take responsibility, they'll kill you for it. Hey man, listen, if you really go by and look at your life, it's really your fault while you're in this fucked up position. Fuck you. It's the man's fault. Why you not holding white people accountable? Why you not holding Chinese people accountable? Why you not holding Asian people accountable? Why you not holding African people accountable that look like you, but then they're not even from here, and then they came over here with a piece of shit in the pot, and they was able to run up? Why you not holding everybody else accountable? Well, if I hold myself accountable, then that means that regardless of my circumstance, I take control of my life. That makes the most sense to me. Why would I give a fuck about what's going on outside of the window? And instead, I would just look in the mirror and fix myself. I got more control over fixing myself than I do telling everybody else what they're supposed to do. No, but go after them. Why? Why would I spend my life force and my energy focusing on going after somebody else when I can figure out what it is that's happening within my own community? How is that going to help me? When has that ever solved anything? How is it that I can do anything for anybody else if I can't get the beam out of my own eye? I need to fix myself. I need to fix my own community. I need to stay home. I need to stay in Detroit. I don't give a fuck about what's happening in the rest of the world. All I know is what's happening in Detroit, because I see the poverty, I see the problems, I see the issues that's happening right inside of my city. I'm just stay home and focus on home. I'm gonna stay home and focus on this. I'm gonna stay home and focus on that. I'm gonna stay here and still focus on that. Why would I be concerned about what everybody else is talking about when I am the 1% of the 1%, the 1% that didn't get divorced, the 1% that ran up a bag, the 1% that don't have any children out of wedlock, the 1% that also employ a ton of black people, the 1% that employ the majority black women, the 1% that pays people $100,000 plus a year, the 1%, the 1%, the 1%. And I'm supposed to listen to the rest of these motherfuckers? Why would I do that? But you think I got to where I got to by listening to you? I got to where I got to by saying, fuck you. Let me say it again. Let me triple down for it. I didn't get to where I got to by trying to be in the world. I got to where I got to by making myself separate from the rest of these motherfuckers as Dusty. I don't care about what the world think. Listen, I want to be very, very clear on where I stand. I don't want nobody to be misunderstood. When you are born into this world, you are born in the circumstances that you can't control. You can't control whether you male or female. You can't control whether you black or white. You can control what you can control, which is you choose to either go on this path or this path. And so people can't understand when I say, listen, I don't identify as black. I identify, and I said Christian because I wanted to reach the majority of the people, but it's really being a saint. I identify with Jesus because I had to choose that. I can't choose none of this shit. All of this is going to fade away. All of this skin, bones, all of this shit is going to be nothing. It's going to be vapor. I could choose where I eternally, where my soul is dedicated. I choose that. I control that. I can't control who brought me into the world. I can't control whether any of this stuff, but I can choose this. The controls, the controllables, that's what I choose. And so people can't resonate with that because they've never had anything that they really stood tall for except for what somebody else gave them. So they told you that you had to align yourself with a fucking neighborhood that somebody else named the streets on and a bunch of other people paid. So because you're from a specific neighborhood, you got to choose being black, or you got to choose this gang. Or, hey, listen, you a blood, you a Crip, you a GD, you a Vice Lord. What? What? What do you mean? No, you black. No, you foundationally black. No, you this. No, you that. Nigga, you can't tell me what it is that I choose. Suck my dick. I don't give a fuck about what you think. And listen, let's be clear. I don't care about what's happening in other cultures across the United States of America. In Detroit, we talk that shit and we say it. Hey man, nigga, suck my dick. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about what nobody think. I don't care. I genuinely don't care. I don't care. The only thing I care about is what it is that's meaningful to me and my God and my family and my chasers. Everybody else is lepers to me. Everybody else is a leper. None of these other people matter. Nobody else matters except for those groups of people. Nothing matters. Somebody says saints don't talk like that. How would you know? You're not a saint. You don't even know what it means to be a saint. It's like talking to somebody that's never read the Bible from front to back, telling you about what it is that Christians do or what saints do. Why would I ever listen to somebody that is never read the Bible? You don't know nothing about it. You've never read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. You never read Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges. You don't even read past a second grade level. Ruth, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Old Testament, New Testament, Acts of the Apostles, Epistles to the Romans. You don't know nothing. You don't know none of that. Everything that you know is what somebody else told you. If 80 a Christian, I don't want to be one. I'm cool with that. That's not for me to figure out. That's between you and God. Listen. That's how I know you a sucker. You know how I know you a sucker? Is because you so focused on what it is that I think a Christian is instead of going and talking to God and Jesus about what it is that he wants you to do. Why are you worried about what another man doing in order for you to find your righteousness and what it is that you're supposed to? This is how I know the community is fucked up. They so busy about how big my dick is inside of their mouth instead of trying to figure out what God got for them to do. Why are you? Is what I do determining whether or not you're gonna actually be? This nigga's a sheep, bro. Somebody said this nigga, no, your mama a demon because she took the whole load. She swallowed everything. I'm a different type of nigga. Let me tell you something, bro. I'm not that type of Christian that's gonna turn the other cheek. I'm the type of Christian that's gonna shoot back. I want to slay every demon on this earth. I want to destroy. I hate every single demon on this earth. I want to destroy and kill every single demon on this earth. I'm not the same type of Christian. I'm not the one that's going to let you run in the church like Don Lemon and do what you want to do. I'm the one that's going to say, shut the fuck up, let's go out back, and I hope you die. I hope everything that you represent die with you. I hope your bloodline is over. I'm not the same type of person. I'm not the one that you used to dealing with. I'm not your mama's Christian. I don't care. I wish more righteous people and Christians that stand for what it is that we supposed to stand for will actually show up and say something to these punk ass motherfuckers. Because let me tell you something. They not cool. They not tough. They ain't doing nothing. They not going outside. They do everything behind a cloak and they hide their face when they do it because they scary. I'm not the regular one. I'm the irregular one. Let's go into Don Lemon. Let's talk about this. Yo, daddy far from righteous. Tell your daddy I said what up. Tell your daddy I said what up, bitch ass nigga. Let me go into Don Lemon. Let's talk about Don. Don. Shout out to Don Lemon.
Entitlement. I think people who are, in the religious groups like that, it's not the type of Christianity that I practice, but I think that they're entitled, and that entitlement comes from a supremacy, a white supremacy. And they think that this country was built for them, that it is a Christian country, when actually we left England because we wanted religious freedom. It's religious freedom, but only if you're a Christian and only if you're a white male, pretty much.
What was that on? What platform is that? IHIP? I like to
am the one who is leading the protest.
How did you hear about this?
I heard someone texted me and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm really sorry that you're going through this." And I said, "Going through what?" Because I've been traveling all night and was in Minnesota, and that's how I heard about it. But I have not heard anything from anybody, DOJ official. I've just heard lots of people just yapping, on either the internet, on social media, or on conservative, podcasts, or Fox News.
All right, so walk us through this. You went to Minnesota. You're an independent journalist. I'm sure everybody's abundantly clear with your work. And you are reporting on all of these ICE protests, and you end up at a church. Is that what this is regarding?
Yeah. So I went to Minneapolis to cover the unrest there. And I was asking people what's going on the ground. I'm going to get there. Should I go directly to the WIPO, whatever? And they said, well, there's this thing happening that they've been sending out flyers for. Perhaps you want to cover this. So I said, sure. And I went, okay, I'll cover. And then when I went to cover it, they said, we're doing this.
He's losing his hair.
Stressing out.
He's losing his hair.
This protest that is sort of similar to the civil rights movement, where they show up places and they sort of disrupt the peace, like sitting in at lunch counters or drinking out of water fountains that were only supposed to be for white people. And I said, sure, I'll go, I'll chronicle it. And they ended up at a church. I didn't even know they were going to a church.
Yes, you did.
Give me a second.
Boy, he lying. Incriminated his own self. Bought coffee and everything.
So we're gonna go.
We must love.
We're out here with the people as well. Hey everybody, welcome to the program. We just got into Minneapolis a little bit ago and did some reconnaissance on the ground, speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at? And as it turns out, because we're like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? saw the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up.
Can't tell us, but
and it's Takima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since George Floyd, Dante Wright, and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account. And so that's what we're doing here. And then after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, can't tell you where they're going and where we're gathered right now. However, and then we're going to head over to Whipple, and we're just going to show you what's happening on the ground, not just all the chaos that you see at Whipple, but just how people are fighting back, how they're organizing, how they're strategizing, and they're doing this in large part without support from officials, right? Local officials. There are some people who want to get involved, some local officials, but they're doing this on their own. This is all grassroots. So we're going to just take you throughout the day here. You're going to be with us live. It's just going to be raw. You're going to see what it is. Yeah. Again, you see people from all walks. Are you out here?
I'm here to support our community activists. I'm currently a candidate for Minnesota State Senate, District 65. I feel like it's important that if you're going to be representing people in office, that you are out here with the people as well.
Yeah. What do you think of when I
These are the type of people that's running for office.
I'm surprised to see the diversity out here,
And they'll infiltrate inside of a church to do so.
I just said to the representatives or officials.
I mean, certainly, I'm actually married to an elected official. I work closely with elected officials.
Location, they don't expect us to come that way. And good.
See, we're on. We're not saying what it is, what's going on, but thank you. Tell us why you're doing that.
The reason why they wouldn't say it, he knows where it is, right? But the reason why he won't say where it is on camera is because he was live streaming, right? And so when he's live streaming, it allows for people in real time to be able to find out exactly what it is that you're doing. Yes, it's copying Nick Shirley, it's copying everybody else, but I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think a lot of times if you're looking to be successful, a lot of times you imitate success, right? But the reason that he didn't tell it out loud, because he knew where they were going, he just didn't want to say it out loud, because during a live stream, then it would give them the opportunity to be able to prepare themselves for you running inside of a church, right? So that is the sentiment, and this is the reason why they keep saying, oh man, we can't say where it is right now. Everybody knew where it was.
So
this is Nakima Levy Armstrong. She's on the show on Friday.
Levy Armstrong, civil rights attorney, longtime activist here in the community. And, we protest and do activism in all kinds of ways. This is Operation Pull Up, more of a clandestine operation. We show up somewhere that is a key location. They don't expect us to come there. And then we disrupt business as usual. So that's what we're about to go do right now. We've had a lot of success with the times we have done Operation Pull Up.
Yeah.
After George Floyd was killed, we went to the Police Federation head's home and staged a demonstration there.
That's crazy, bro. That is insane. That is insane that people can pull up to somebody's home, private residence.
We also went to the head of the We went there after Dante Wright was killed when
all right, let me go back to Don Lemon. I want to see what he got to say.
They ended up at a church, and so once they went in and did their thing, other journalists started going in, and I went in. So I'm not exactly sure, Jen, how I became the face of it, unless everyone there, the pastor, some of the congregants, and the protesters. And that was it. And now all of a sudden it blew up into this big thing where I am the one who is leading the protest, and somehow I'm the agitator here when I'm just the journalist.
Well, what's really happening is that he's not the one that created it. He's not the one that's leading it, but he's the one that's basically stoking the flames, and he's throwing a bunch of gasoline on top of the fire, right? Because when you have a huge platform, when you know the impact of what you're doing, it then brings more visibility to it. You stoke the flame, you stoke the fire. So basically you become an accomplice to whatever is going on. But I don't really think that Don Lemon gives a fuck, but let's continue.
And so this church, it is friendly, is ICE friendly, is my understanding.
That's the reporting. So according to the group, and I have not been able to confirm this again because this wasn't my movement. I am chronicling what happened. They said that they found evidence that someone who is a pastor or registered as a pastor there is also an ICE agent or works in some capacity with ICE. And they said they had information about that. And they think that if that is the case, why are you a pastor at a church if you were working as an ICE agent? And so that's what their skirmish was about. That's what they went in to protest. And that's what I went in just to report on.
Well, I can certainly understand
Why
their
can't he work as a
frustration
pastor?
with that, because all of the grifting through Christianity and overt patriotism, and then these people can't call out the Jeffrey Epstein pedophilia ring. It's very alarming. But I took from your Instagram, you interviewed this pastor, and let's watch this together from your but these people that ICE are targeting are suffering. They're marginalized. And I thought you did an excellent job with.
Let me tell you the truth about Don Lemon. I'm going to keep it 100% real with y'all. All right. Now that y'all done pretty much got the gist of it and understand what's going on, this is the truth about what's happening with Don Lemon. Don Lemon does not give a fuck. Don Lemon doesn't care about lying about being a Christian. Don Lemon doesn't care about what's happening in Minneapolis. Don Lemon doesn't care about Democrats. He doesn't care about Republicans. Don Lemon doesn't care about ICE or anything like that. Let me tell you, you want me to tell you what Don Lemon cares about? Money, visibility, growing his platform, being successful. Don Lemon didn't fly to Minneapolis to document what was going on. Don Lemon flew to Minneapolis to run up a bag. And I'm not mad at him. Do I agree with his behavior? Absolutely not. I don't think that you should go into a church and run in there and try to say, well, no, you know what? I'm just documenting what's going on. I'm just on the ground having it, whatever. No. There's certain things that you should not do as a human being. Forget the content. But Don Lemon don't give a fuck about what anybody's saying when it comes to, oh man, we gonna arrest you. Bro, do y'all not realize that feeds right into what he wants? Objectively speaking, Don Lemon is winning. He's winning because he knows that all of this Justice Department warning and all of this other type of stuff, bro, that's not going to affect him. He's not about to get arrested. He's not going to jail. He's not doing none of that shit. You know what he's doing? He's leveraging social media and the visibility to continue to grow his platform and get more bags and get more money. Listen, Don Lemon is not as dumb as y'all may think that he is. Don Lemon is playing chess. He is running up a bag and he's running up and he's leveraging his platform in order to do so. He is not concerned about none of that shit. When he went in there to go and talk to the pastor, he didn't go in there to talk to the pastor because he really cared about what the pastor would think. He went in there to get the exclusive because he knew that everybody would be reacting and talking about it afterwards. As much as I don't like Don Lemon, I have to be objective enough to understand the business side of it. This is the Millionaire Morning Show. This is not where we sit here and only talk about our opinion as far as how we espouse our views or what we stand on. This is us understanding where it comes back to the money. This is where we understand where it comes back to the money. Somebody said he's winning for now until God humble him is going to change. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he won't get his fuck around and find out moment until he's dead and at the pearly gates or whatever, right?